Hi, welcome back. This is going to be a reading for Taurus. All right, so whenever this reading does find you, and this may resonate for you wherever you have Taurus in your chart. I did pre-shuffle this first deck here, so let's jump right in here. We're starting out with Pluto, which is a rebirth here. So Pluto was known as the Lord of Mining. Okay, so retrieving valuables from deep within the earth. Pluto calls for three actions, essentially. The first is to dig deep. The second is to be willing to transform. And thirdly, to use the power wisely. So digging up what is worthy, bringing it to the surface and rinsing away any dirt to uncover the gold, so to speak here. So bringing up, riches whenever you dig deep into your soul's work, noticing any obsessions, any signs of stress must be listened to and be healed, okay? Not allowing them to control you. So Pluto reminds us that we can't hold on to the past. We have to take care of ourselves. To begin this work, you may have to let go of an old form of yourself. Just as the caterpillar becomes a butterfly, transformation here or rebirth. Then getting curious about what is next to arrive in our future. So the challenge with Pluto in the shadow side can bring up obsessions, depression, our own mortality, and grief. But Pluto asks, in the face of life and death here, why are you here? Sort of a rhetorical question here. Strip down to the essentials and come back to what really matters in order to find the answer. The next is the 8th house, which the 8th house is all about things we don't talk about in public, okay? This is sex, deaths of, meaning in people or, transformations within both. It can be like loans, debts, psychic phenomenons, things that are hard to discuss in public, okay? So this house can feel uncomfortable for sure, but it's a place where we really transform. So we're asked to get clear in our own mind if, there's any manipulation, if anyone is pulling strings, if we're being manipulative also. Any dysfunctional dynamics we're asked to look at with clear, healthy boundaries, okay? So most of the time to operate in this 8th house, we have to take a look at our own selves, our money, our sense of worth, our body, confidence, strengthen those here in order to transform in this 8th house and do the work. So typically the 8th house calls for acknowledgement that death truly does exist and, be fully alive in response to acknowledging that. Facing your worst fears, stepping through to feel the liberation from them, any trap of manipulation, and how it falls away when we do delve deep inside here. It's tempting to manipulate people, but making sure that we're not in ourselves also, and people can be manipulated by withholding love, power, money. And, sometimes it's hard to step away from that when someone else is sort of, jerking our chain here. The next card is Midheaven here. So this card, it's listed as Pinnacle. This Midheaven contains clues about how growing up, how your family trained you to be visible in the world, your relationship to other people, how you deal with authority, how you are viewed in your own authority here, how you step into your own personal authority, okay? So it's our most public visible point. So this is asking you to take inventory, so to speak, on your own personal reputation, asking what you can do to strengthen it, looking at your definition of success. Make sure it's your own and it actually makes you happy and it's not something you've inherited from your family. You may have to go back to anything hidden here, you know, going back to these first two cards, the rebirth and the 8th house here. Anything hidden to reawaken any ambition that you may have. And you know what? It might not make sense to anyone else but you. But defining the mountaintop for yourself, okay? So talking about traditions and other people's expectations or your family history in regards to your own idea of your own potential. You know, there may be hurdles to overcome as you find your true path and your sense of ambition, a longing to live out your own potential, okay? So it's making sure you're listening to the call and doing what makes you happy for your own success. Then we have transits. This is all about the climate, your environment around you here. So transits speak about you know, surrounding conditions that are changing, to stay alert and aware, to be ready to respond to any incoming opportunities, maybe even dangers. These are people moving in and out of your life here, you know, opportunities opening up, old chapters closing. You know, sometimes that can be scary, you know, going into the unknown here. But life is ever changing and moving, and you can't control people and events that come into your life, but what you can control is your responses to the movement. So this is basically asking you to choose wisely, all right? Number 53 is opposition or confrontation. So in talking about the past or expectations, traditions inherited by family, you know, opposition may arise. This isn't a comfortable position to be in, not a comfortable situation. That's not really the point, though. It's about practicing your best skills, staying centered, you know, operating from your wisdom and strategy instead of, you know, any emotional heat or confrontation. So the obstacles in your way are there not to stop you, but actually in order to push you forward into your own personal best. Okay, so, you know, you may be in a situation that is inconvenient, but the growth opportunity within, it's not a punishment, it's a chance to burn through any karma accrued. You know, if you can continually respond with compassion and tough love from your higher self, here is what that speaks about. And then we do have the root card here. So this, talking about our roots, is looking to the roots of yourself. Think about what makes you feel at home and secure, grounded. What creates a sanctuary for yourself? You know, looking at foundations, becoming conscious of these traditions and any assumptions that underlie any situation. This is about leaning into habits that help you feel secure and grounded, okay? So, you know, building your own roots. You know, if you grew up in, you know, childhood in a chaotic family with, you know, arguments and whatnot, are you craving that in your adulthood with, you know, your housemates or your partner here? Or, you know, are you looking to create your own quiet sanctuary? Things like that. This is all about feeling grounded and finding your own center here. So what we have next here is, oh, I can't pick it up here. The Queen card. So the Queen, you know, just like her counterpart, the King, both have, you know, a dualistic nature. So either she presides over the kingdom with grace and eloquence that lift up the spirit of others, or she can fall into a pettiness and be moody or cast a shadow, you know, across the land. So If the king is the ego, the queen is the expression of that ego in the world. So when the queen is in her rightful place, she's patient, forgiving, graceful. She settles into this deep trust in herself and the universe, in her intuition and her own power. She fears nothing. Okay. The opposite of that is self-righteousness, demanding. Okay. Impatience. So this is asking you to look at yourself in that way, and what you are presenting here to the outside world here. It did fall with the actual shadow card, which is quite ironic. All cards in this deck have shadow attributes. Okay. This is asking us to really dive into the qualities of the shadow itself here, actually. All too often we think that shadow sides can be purified or illuminated and made right or healed through, effort and achievement. However, just the pursuit of ascension and perfection alone is actually the very source of the shadow material itself. So in other words, by rejecting parts of ourselves and the world, we begin to separate from the whole, rather than getting to know the qualities and content of our shadow. So we busy ourselves with avoiding its presence, and it's called denial. All right. So when this card appears, it's time to really take inventory of those things we've been denying. When the mind responds to any situation with, no, I don't want to deal with anything but that, that's when you're touching your shadow side. This is deep inner work, and, that of which needs to move with patience and compassion for ourselves here, really. Okay. Next, we have the Nectar card, which is really beautiful to come out in this reading here, Taurus. This is, contains infinite healing. This is the power of the golden nectar is, the drink of immortality. It's known to activate subtle, intelligent forces that connect mind, body, and spirit here. This is leads us to, this central energy within ourselves. The Nectar card, calls us to really identify and rejoice in places, practices, and people or activities that regenerate and heal ourselves just the same as medicine. Okay. So that's asking you to really see what is healing for your own self here. It comes in subtle forms sometimes, and you might be overlooking some things that could actually be healing for you, some activities. It's said that, when you find this nectar, you're glowing, your eyes are twinkling and sparkling here. So, finding the nectar, finding, what heals you, what helps you to feel better and go through this process, actually. The last card that fell out, this is actually the death card in this deck, which is quite beautiful. In the normal tarot deck, death card is often oversimplified, just as a transformation. But actually, it's not really that easily contained within that word. Death is ongoing. It's an eternal response to the gift of life, the gift of birth. So this speaks about witnessing the end of either another being or creature, or the end of a phase or stage in ourselves, and how it has, deep consequences for the psyche, how we are forever changed as it sweeps through us, relinquishing control in every form, how it leaves a mark on our heart. Okay. So signifying that we have actually touched, the cusp of the underworld here. So, which then leads us to return back to the world of the living, renewed, transformed. Okay. It's so, when this card appears, this signifies an initiation, okay, into the underworld. So this card speaks about facing death or a huge transformation in ourselves, which actually leads you to the ultimate truth. This reading is really, really beautiful here. This is a huge awakening in somebody here, of epic proportion here is what has come through. So I'm going to pull a couple tarot cards here, and we'll see what else comes out here. I'm not choosing the typical tarot decks that I work with, but this one instead. We have Golden Flower. So this is quite beautiful. This is all about balance and acceptance in the natural flow of life. How we ourselves are always evolving. This is actually all about drawing nearer to conscious awareness. So that in which balances ourselves here and accepting that. We have the Six of Miras. This is all about memories. This is, it's each pool here in this card reflects memories from a different time in our life. So for better or worse, the energy patterns that affect the present and perhaps mold our future, and how we rely on maintaining balance and harmony in our life, how we have moved on from all these memories here. We have the King of Miras, which is comparable to the King of Cups. So this is somebody who's wise, a mentor, good-natured, emotionally balanced, filled with wisdom and empathy, very insightful, able to adapt or to navigate any rocky terrain or emotional challenges. This is really beautiful. I mean, I see through all this work, this is where somebody has come here, really quite beautiful here. Wow. We have the Five of Miras, which is all about forgiveness and gaining healing through forgiveness, whether that's in ourselves or our past, family, anything. This is all about gaining healing through forgiveness. This is, there may have been some emotional upheaval. I mean, I do see that in the cards that preceded this for sure. This is a lot of inner work here that somebody has done. And, things that needed to be set right. This is about how wounds heal faster and have fewer scars when you give mercy and compassion to anyone who has wronged you, honestly, even yourself here, okay? Wow. So we have the Nine of Scrolls here, which symbolizes trauma, dealing with difficult hurdles, so being able to complete an important growth cycle, maybe in the past struggling with fears, projecting, repressed issues onto friends and family. This is dealing with how we can dissipate this if we assume greater responsibility for our own well-being, honestly, here. This is a beautiful way to end this here. This is, it's actually all about Ganesh. If you're familiar with that, I have one here. This is all about Ganesh here. So, this is removing obstacles, which is really so beautiful here in this reading, to a higher learning. It relates to, consolation experienced as peace and balance, harmony. So the small scroll here in held by the elephant implies that actually only a little work remains in your present cycle. So the new cycle awaiting your energy and inspiration will be one of learning and wisdom. And the larger scrolls, that's said to be a map of our future travels. Okay, so the advice here is to be open and adaptable. And honestly, it's like you can see the light at the end of the tunnel here. You've removed many obstacles from your path. Wow, that's really quite beautiful here. I'm gonna pull one oracle card here to end this reading, Taurus. This has been quite a deep reading here. Thank you for being here. I don't know if I said that earlier. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Well, how beautiful. We have mending. I don't have these oracle cards memorized, so I apologize for that. Mending, I'm going to quickly look that up. Card number 52. It's one of the last cards here in the deck. So this is really beautiful. This is about forgiveness, making amends, and healing after arguments. Really, really beautiful here. So it says, each time we are hurt and allow the hurt to pass through us without understanding, we accumulate an unwanted burden. This keeps us chained to the very things we need to heal. The pain, the memories, the arguments, any resentments that we have rehearsed over and over. Now is the time for mending rifts, healing wounds, and letting go of old hurts in order to reclaim your power. Now is the time to forgive, to release, to make peace, and to make amends to others, which in return will set yourself free. That is, I just got chills. That is really beautiful, and it goes perfectly with this reading, Taurus, here. That's all I have today. I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful death and rebirth. Honestly, it's quite amazing how we went from this whole cycle, and the two cards that are the beginning and the end is the rebirth and death. This is a huge inner transformation that I see. Really, really beautiful. A lot of healing, a lot of dark soul work here, shadow work, and coming out renewed and rebirthed here. So I thank you so much for being here and supporting the channel, and I wish you the best. Have a wonderful day, Taurus. Thanks.